This girl's face has marks drawn on it for a plastic surgeon. She lies on the operating table and looks forward to becoming beautiful. But she doesn't know that what she has been waiting for will turn her life into a nightmare. A girl named Samantha walks by an old movie theater. She sees that there is a movie showing there today called The Thing in the Woods, starring Samantha herself. She cautiously walks into the empty auditorium. An invisible force pushes Samantha into a chair and the movie begins. Covered in blood, Samantha runs through the woods from a serial killer nicknamed the Welder. Hiding behind a tree, she encounters a guy named Jason and tells him that a serial killer has murdered all the people they were within their group. Night falls and the couple tries to leave the woods. Once out on the road, they see a police car pulling up. The policeman locks them in the car and tries to apprehend the welder, who comes out to him. He shoots the killer several times and he falls dead. The policeman looks under the killer's mask and runs back in terror, but somehow he stumbles over the killer's leg and accidentally shoots himself. Jason gets out of the car to retrieve the keys from the policeman's body, but they are nowhere to be found. What's more, the killer turns out to be alive, so the couple has to keep running. They make it to a cottage, where a friend named Mike is waiting for them. The frightened girl tells him that all their friends have been killed. The killer shows up on the doorstep and Mike is killed. While Jason fights him hand to hand, Samantha finds a trapdoor leading to the basement, where she discovers the killer's previous victims. Jason tries to stab the welder with a knife, but the welder takes the weapon away and cuts him. He then stabs him with all the knives from his stand, then burns him with a welder. The girl arms herself with an axe and a chain found in the basement and fights back against the killer. To Samantha's surprise, her neighbor and childhood friend named Fred is uncovered under the mask. He tells her the story of what happened. With a tight group of friends, they went to Fred's cabin on the lake. One day the boys saw a meteorite falling in the woods nearby and went to watch. Fred advised Jason to call the police, but he didn't listen. When he touched the meteorite, it disintegrated into dozens of spiders, which began to climb into their mouths and take over their minds. Fred managed to escape and make it to the workshop in the house, where he escaped the spider attack with a welding mask and killed the arachnids with a hammer. So Fred put on a welder's suit and proceeded to exterminate his friends before it was too late and the aliens got to civilization. Samantha is shocked by what she hears. She asks him to kill her, which is what the guy does with tremendous effort. Fred, weeping, puts on his welder's suit and goes outside to fight the spiders one last time. The next morning he gets in his car and drives to town. He failed to win and the aliens from outer space subjugated him. A man named David decides to go into seclusion with his girlfriend, Anna, in an old movie theater. The girl has a scar on her face. As they are kissing, suddenly the movie turns on and Anna appears on the screen. She is standing by the mirror in the restaurant bathroom, looking at her scar in disgust. When she returns to David, he asks her not to do it again. The couple recently got engaged and the man wants to pay for Anna's plastic surgery so she can finally love herself. The girl is uncomfortable, but she agrees. At the consultation, the plastic surgeon informs her that he can not only make the scar invisible but also make some more corrections to make Anna beautiful. She feels a little uncomfortable with such generosity, but she likes the idea. Under anesthesia, Anna sees herself walking down the aisle with her new look, where David is waiting for her. But next thing you know, a grinning surgeon is standing there with his assistants. Their uniforms are smeared with blood. After the operation, while the girl lies unconscious, David takes some pictures of her bandaged face. When Anna regains consciousness, the surgeon comes to see her. He tells her that one session is not enough and that several more operations are needed. The doctor offers to start the next day and Anna is alarmed by this proposal. No less frightening is the fact that the phone on her bedside table does not work, and the nurse forbids her to contact her relatives. At night she sneaks into the nurse's computer and discovers a suspicious fact. David has insisted on an immediate operation. On her way to her room, Anna hears moaning from the operating room. There, under the black covering, lies a woman with only a mouth on her face. Seeing how tomorrow's operation could end, Anna runs away in terror. After a fight with a nurse, Anna manages to run into the elevator and take it to the first floor, but a surgeon and his assistant are waiting for her there. He gives her an injection, after which she passes out. Anna is recovering from surgery. David says that his mother has come to meet the bride. She notices a mirror on the bedside table. When she unwraps the bandages, she sees that the surgeon has disfigured her, turning her into a real monster. David walks into the room with his mother. She says that the girl is a real beauty. Anna is completely shocked by what she sees in the movie. She looks around for David, but he is nowhere to be found. On her way out of the auditorium, she meets the Projectionist. He calls himself the keeper of hundreds of nightmares, lost but not forgotten. He tells her that he wants to see her die. The girl's shriek goes off throughout the empty movie theater. Father Benedict walks past the movie theater. The sign lights up and he sees that the movie Macket starring him is playing there. A boy possessed by a demon stands on the roof of a Catholic monastery. Father Benedict asks him to come down, but he only laughs. Sister Patricia climbs onto the roof to help the boy. He gains control of his body for a few seconds, but falls off the roof and dies. A woman named Cindy comforts her daughter Danny, who, along with the other children, witnessed the boy's suicide. After putting her daughter to bed, Cindy goes to work. As she goes through her notes in her office, the crucifix hanging on the wall suddenly falls. Hearing strange noises from the hallway, Cindy goes out to see what's there, and something disembodied flies past her. Benedict and Patricia have sex, but stop when strange noises start coming from the hallway. She worries about the children who witnessed the suicide of a classmate, but the priest reassures her. The next day, Danny spends time in the yard praying. The other girls begin to hurt her. In an attempt to defend herself, Danny pushes one of them. Unexpectedly for the girl, her bully flies several yards and falls, spitting out a bit of her tongue. Sister Patricia approaches to comfort her, but she is terrified as she sees a demon behind Danny's back. Sister Patricia finds information about a demon named Macket. He is called to punish those who succumb to lust, and his mission is to drive children to suicide. Father Benedict enters, and she tells him about the demon. Afterward, the dead boy, possessed by the demon, crawls into the study. He says he knows what they have been doing there. Benedict manages to cast the demon out of the boy, and he says that the otherworldly creature has moved into Danny and they need to kill her immediately. Benedict and Patricia wait for the girl near the altar. When Danny arrives, the couple begins the exorcism. The girl is crying and does not understand what is happening. Her furious mother arrives and takes her daughter away. Patricia realizes that Cindy is possessed by a demon, not Danny. The girl herself discovers this when she sees the evil smile on her mother's face, after which she begins to pray. An unknown force pulls her onto the bed. The demon in Cindy's body begins to control the children. Benedict and Patricia enter the girl's bedroom and see them all pointing to Danny's bed, where she lies with her mouth sewn shut. One of them attacks Patricia and they have to run away. As they run into the hall, they see the door open and eerily smiling children enter. Each of them has a knife in hand. Benedict gives Patricia 2 daggers and he arms himself with a sword. A fight ensues. The nun sees Cindy possessed by Macket. The possessed woman runs to the roof and Patricia follows. Father Benedict fights the children, but they manage to prevail and kill him. Once on the edge of the roof, Cindy, who is possessed, grabs Patricia and jumps to her death. The nun manages to survive, as Cindy's body cushions her fall. But after the possessed woman's death, the demon has moved into Patricia. Father Benedict is impressed by what he sees. The projectionist knocks him out. A woman named Helen enters the movie theater. On one of the seats, she finds a phone that receives a call from an unknown number, but the movie is already starting. Helen and her sons have come to see a doctor, but he is delayed and she is asked to wait a few minutes. The boys are not happy because they have already been sitting for hours. She goes to the reception desk again, but the girl sitting there is now covered in mud for some reason. She tries to say that she can come back another day, but the girl says that they have already struggled to squeeze Helen into the schedule, so she will have to wait. It's time to see the doctor. Helen tells him that she is haunted by frightening hallucinations. The environment, as well as the people around her, are constantly changing. Nevertheless, her children seem normal. Moreover, it was the boys who brought her to the hospital. The doctor asks if she wants to kill herself, but without waiting for an answer, leaves for a meeting and tells her to come back tomorrow. Helen walks in confusion down the corridor of the hospital, which now looks like an abandoned building. She goes to the couch, but her sons are no longer there. Near the elevator, Helen manages to catch the receptionist, who has turned into a frightening monster, but she says she has not seen any children at all. The woman walks into the filthy bathroom and asks the nightmarish janitor cleaning the sink if he has seen her children. The man ignores her. Then Helen pulls a strange gun from her purse and threatens the janitor with it, but he just walks away. The hospital corridors are getting dirtier and dirtier. She tries to call her ex-husband. He tells her that it's over and that she shouldn't call him anymore. Helen asks him to think about the children, but he says he has not heard of any children. The woman tries to shoot herself, but she lacks the nerve. As she walks on, she overhears the doctor talking to her sons through the door. One of the boys regrets that they gave her a pistol with 1 bullet instead of poison. The doctor says that anyone can fall out of reality, so it should be dealt with, not condemned. He also says that suicide is the only way out for her because the chances are high that she will return to her reality. The boys are surprised that Helen thinks they are her children, which indicates that they are not. She enters the office and sees that this time, too, the doctor has turned into a monster. She shoots him in the head and gets the children out of there. Helen says they are going home. Helen in the movie theater lowers her eyes and sees that she has a gun in her purse. There is a sound of a gunshot coming from the movie theater. A boy named Riley walks past the movie theater and sees that a movie called The Dead is playing there. He sits down at the organ next to the movie screen and begins to play. The movie begins. Riley performs a piano recital. After the concert, his father asks if the author of the piece is alive. Riley grudgingly says he wrote it. Suddenly, a guy named Jenkins bursts into the backseat and puts a gun to Riley's head. He tells everyone to get out of the car and get down on the ground. A fight ensues and Jenkins kills Riley's parents, but the boy manages to escape. As he runs, the bandit shoots Riley in the back and he falls. Doctors manage to save the boy's life. When he opens his eyes during his recovery, he sees his mother, who says that everything is fine and she is with him. When Riley wakes up, the first thing he asks the doctor is where his mother is, because she should still be there. The doctor says that the boy needs to rest. At night, a strange man with stitches on his face appears in the room with Riley. When he walks out into the hallway, the boy decides to follow him. The man begins to scratch at a door. Suddenly, a nurse shows up next to Riley and asks why he is not in his room. Riley mentions the man with stitches, but there is no one at the door. Riley starts to feel sick and the nurse helps him to his bed. On the next bed lies a man with stitches on his face. The nurse says he has just died. At night, Riley's mother comes to see him again. She says she is fine and the boy just has to go to sleep to stay with her forever. In the morning, Riley wakes up and the nurse tells him that they are moving him to a regular room. She also tells him that he died on the operating table for a full 17 minutes, but the doctors were able to save him. As the woman takes Riley down the hallway, he sees a couple in bloody clothes, but they quickly disappear. The sight frightens him. As the boy sleeps, Jenkins visits him, but a nurse comes into the room and kicks him out. Riley wakes up and walks out into the hallway, where he sees dead people. A girl named Casey approaches him and says she also sees them. Like Riley, she survived a clinical death by trying to kill herself. The girl thinks that, based on her experience, they see people who just haven't realized they're dead. Casey thinks Riley's mother's visits are not a good sign. In the morning, the boy's mother visits him again and he tries to convince her that she is dead. His mother says that he should just go to sleep and they will be together again. Casey runs into the room and says that she wants to drag Riley down with her, so he must resist. A nurse comes up and drives the girl away and she goes to her room. Riley's mother is waiting for her there. A couple of hours later, Casey is found with her vein slit. The doctor sadly tells him that she has finished what she started. In the evening, Riley is attacked by Jenkins. He manages to fight back, but the man hurts his wound, so Riley gets worse. He tries to hide in the back room, but the killer finds him and tries to strangle him. Riley sees his mother, who tells him to give up and die because then they will be reunited. But then Casey shows up and asks him not to and to fight for his life. Riley chooses the second option and kills the man. As the boy is wheeled in on a gurney, he sees Casey smiling, his worried parents, and then Jenkins. The man angrily wishes him sweet dreams. Riley, sitting at the organ in the movie theater, is approached by the projectionist. There are characters from all the previous films sitting in the audience, and the projectionist tells him that they are all dead. He tells the boy that he cannot escape the future he sees. The boy runs out of the theater. The sign says that Riley is dead. The projectionist rolls up the tape of the Riley movie and puts it on the shelf with the others. There are hundreds of these films in the storeroom. That's all for now. Thank you all for watching. What movie would you like to see next? Let me know in the comments. See you all next time.